Now, there's no one better to show a young man a night out in Manchester than George Best. It was his playground as a youngster, and even then he had a feeling and appreciation for the good things in life. Always with that little touch of class.
Are you accustomed to this kind of comfort, Ryan?
No, this is my first time, so just enjoying it while I can.
Are you a snob?
Yeah, I am now.
He's learned very quickly to become a snob, yeah.
Where's the fine line between sort of being part of, I don't know, sort of public property and actually sort of living the image, if you like? You must have done that down the years. Lived up to your image.
Well, I think one of the problems I had, and I don't know if Ryan gets it as well, is when you go out for a quiet, private evening, most people are okay, but you only need one idiot well, there's George Best, there's Ryan Giggs, and in front of his pals or in front of his girlfriend or whatever, he wants to show that he's Jack the Lad, and I mean, a number of fights and arguments I've got into through no fault of my own. I mean, I've had my skull split by a guy who I'd never seen in my life before, just purely and simply because I happened to be there and he saw me. I mean, the guy could have killed me.
Do you go into town? Do you put yourself in that position where you could get into trouble?
No, I just stay local, really. Stay where my friends are and people I know. You tend to, if you go to the wrong places, then, as George says, you get the odd idiot. Says, there's so-and-so, and they want to argue with you or fight with you or whatever.
Has that ever happened to you?
I've had a few idiots come up to me and, say, all sorts, like, you're rubbish and you footballers, I don't know, you think you are and all, which I think is wrong, but you've got to try and keep a cool head and just walk away.
Who's your minder on the pitch? Who looks after you?
I think Incy, he's always first there if there's trouble.
That's not just you, that's just Incy.
No, Incy looks after me on the pitch.
I mean, if somebody does have a go at you, does he actually sort of have a word or choke them off?
Yeah, he'll say, watch yourself, or, I'll have you next time if they do anything, but it doesn't normally happen, that.
What about you, George? Who looked after you, or didn't you need looking after?
Well, no, we all need looking after. Paddy was he was the same, Paddy. He was first in, and he took him. And, I mean, over the years, I became known as my minder, off the field as well.
I suppose one difference, it seems to me, that between the two of you, you say you did mix with high society, didn't you, virtually straight away? Why? Were you comfortable with those kind of people? Did you enjoy the glamour, or were they just happy to be with you?
It just happened. I love all sportsmen, and I suppose the one that really sort of, it was a pleasure to meet, one athlete that I was fortunate enough to meet a couple of times was Muhammad Ali. Cassius Clay when I met him, and he was just such a fascinating character. But just to be able to meet people like that and be in the same room as him was a pleasure. No, the biggest compliment was that he knew me.
Really?
Which was nice. So, I mean, I just met him briefly and said hello to him, and you say all stupid things, don't you know how much you admire him, because this man was a genius. He really was at what he did. So.
What about you, Ryan? Who have you met that you thought, my word, what am I doing next year?
George. Heroes that I've had, that I've seen on television, and I've been fortunate to meet people like Bobby Charlton and all the old 68 team. Also managed to meet Nelson Mandela, which is quite special because, he's one of the most famous people in the world. And when we went to South Africa, I managed to meet him, so that was quite a thrill.
Had he heard of you?
He said he had. I don't know. I think he was lying. He said he had, though.
He's actually quite a football fan, isn't he?
Yeah.
That must have been some experience.
Yeah, that was brilliant. I was gobsmacked.
Did you have a fan club?
Yes, I got to a stage. I mean, it was phenomenal. My agent in those days was also Dennis Law's agent, Ken Stanley, a lovely man. He worked from Huddersfield, and he had to employ, I think, 3 girls full time. I was getting 20,000 letters a week.
No.
It was just phenomenal. Yeah.
There's going to be a bit of jealousy here. How many do you get?
Divided by 20.
That's because the cost of paper's going up. That's why. Stamps. 20,000 a week.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, it was just phenomenal.
What kind of things do you all say, apart from autographs? Any juicy ones?
No, I had my first bit of underwear last week in a parcel, which I was quite surprised.
From a bloke.
Which was quite embarrassing, but it's nice.
Tasteful?
Yeah, they were alright. But it's been 20 different things now, right?
Yeah, well, the shops were here. I had the menswear, and my best pal had the hairdressers in the corner. So, and our favourite club was downstairs here.
Yeah.
So we had everything in the same area.
There's still a hairdresser's here, I think, round the corner.
Yeah, I think I think one of the lads still works there. They used to work when I was here. But we ended up having the whole length of it. You'd have loved it because there were so many shops for clothes. All in those days, boutiques they call them, but and some great, well, we thought it was great gear in those days. And then a little club down here, which was owned by the Demis, who were the big bookmakers here. A place called Blinkers. And that was another one of our little hideouts, little private clubs, so it was nice. We didn't get any aggravation. But this area in those days was buzzing. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
I came back here once. I was in Spain on holiday, and I came back, and a newspaper reporter came into the hairdressers while I was in there.
Yeah.
And he said, "Where have you been?" I said, "I've been in Spain." I said, I've just come back. And I was leaving the next day. I was going back the next day. Because I just hadn't had enough time. I wanted another couple of weeks. Yeah. And he said to me, "Well, what have you come back for?" I said, "Well, a haircut, of course." And the next day, George VHS flies in for a haircut. That was it. Another part of the myth that was a load of rubbish. Right, you want to go down and see our famous pub?
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, I don't know what it's like today, but it was such a dive. But the crowd that went in there, and then the boss, the guy that ran it, was an American. And poor old Sir Matt in those days, he used to... Because Manchester was like a village, and everybody knew everybody else's business. And every so often the boss would get us in his office, and he couldn't get the name of this place right. He called it the Black Cow, the Black Bull, the Pink Parrot. It's called the Brown Bull, but this is where we used to, after games, all the boys used to go there and have a nice steak and a few drinks. It's fabulous. I don't know what it's like now, we'll soon find out. Hi, all right? How are you? Good, very good, thanks. Of course, changed a bit. How are you? All right? Yeah. Pool? When I used to come here, they didn't have pools, so... I think you've probably been in here before, haven't you?
No,
tried the table out. I've heard you're a hustler anyway.
Someone pass me my cue.
Look, there's two superstars. We don't have a quid between us. Got nickel balls. Right. Giggsy, you might as well sit down.
You've got a seat.
He's got a table at home. What's the end off? We're level.
The competitive instinct will never die, a Giggs and Best trademark. These two men are just in love with football. To them, it's much more than a game. It really is an art form.
Is this the best goal you ever scored?
Yeah, it was again. I was playing for San Jose, which was my last team in America. The opposition were the team that had traded me to San Jose, Fort Lauderdale, and we'd been given a free kick, and I'd said to the lad, "Just knock it to me," and I just made my mind up. I was going to have a go for it.
Is that natural? Is that
Are you aware of what you're doing, or is it a case of I'm just going to go for goal?
Yeah, it's a bit like, I mean, here I've decided I'm going to score. I mean, it doesn't guarantee you're going to.
What's the best goal you've scored?
One against Blackburn. The night we won the league last year, purely because of the occasion, and I don't think I've ever experienced a night like that again. And we were 1-0 down, and the crowd were a bit low, so I got back to the feet again.
Giggs gives a goal worthy of the occasion. It's 1-1.
Well, they're all looking at Dennis Irwin. Up steps Ryan Giggs, and look at that for precision. He's got bend on it, enough bend, but it's the accuracy you have to admire. They don't come any better than that, they really don't. Magnificent free kick.
You say you've got no regrets, and you fitted about 6 lives into one life in a way. Would you say not do the same to Ryan, or don't do the same to Ryan, or stay clear, or what would you say to him? I know you say you don't give advice, but what would you say to him?
There's no advice. I said it before. I wouldn't give you. Just enjoy what you're doing, and that's just, as long as you. I think you can do both. I think you can live hard and play hard, but as long as you're enjoying doing both. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. I made more mistakes than anybody, but the whole thing is it's football. That's the bottom line. No matter how you look at it, the football. As long as the football's there and going well, you don't have to worry about anything else. It's great.
What happened to George probably couldn't happen to you now, because it isn't the swinging 60s and what have you. But do people say, oh, look what happened to George Best, or don't be like George Best? Do they say that to you? Are you aware of that?
Because of the comparisons on the playing side, they're bound to make comparisons off the field. But as George says, the boss has done brilliant looking after me, and I think he's going to take good care of me. And I've got people who can give me advice, whereas George has, just mentioned that he didn't really have anyone to advise him. So I don't think I need to worry really.
Would you like to live George Best's lifestyle? The lifestyle he led when he was 19?
Well, I wouldn't mind being half the player he was for a start. I would be a start.